As you come around the front of the cab, we'd like to show you some features that are available to you when you purchase your apparatus. Obviously, we have a multitude of siren options, both mechanical and electronic, that are available to you from several manufacturers. You also notice we have a nice lighting package here. One of the key features that we have is our drop-down grill. What this does allows the driver on his daily checks to access the dipstick, the oil fill, and the washer bottle from the front of the cab without having to lift it or access underneath it. You also know there's a bar right here, which is a linkage to our wiper system. Our wiper system is driven from a single motor using a horizontally based wiper system. What this does is, particularly in crosswinds, allows the wiper blade to maintain contact with the windshield without lifting and obscuring the driver's vision during bad weather. Also, to you notice too, we have an option here with the severe duty bumper. Part of what we've done here is incorporate structural steel into the bumper assembly rather than stainless. While the stainless is still available, this bumper has been designed to take abuse and the use of the fire department over time. One of the newest options that we're offering now is our outside access EMS compartment. The roll-up door allows access into the interior storage compartment for the storage of emergency medical equipment, bunker gear, or other emergency gear that may be needed at the scene. Also available too is an inside access door that's incorporated into the cab side of the compartment. As you can see, as we enter the cab, this is the inside access door for our EMS compartment. So you can have access from both sides of the cab that way, both inside and out. As you can see, you have a large spacious area here around our cab. Allows plenty of working room and lots of area to walk. There are no obstructions for trip hazards that affect the firefighter. Also, too, you notice our HVAC system here. This provides the heating and air conditioning to the rear of the cab. Also, you see the optional red lighting that we have here, also available in two separate, either white or red. As I move the center seat, you notice this has a 3-across seating configuration. The cab itself can get you up to 8 seated firefighters in the back and 2 in the front. Of course, seat belts provide each seating position. This is an ABTS belt system, which means that the belts are attached to the seat assembly itself and have no connection to the back of the cab. In this particular case, this cab also has our SRS or airbag system, which includes outside airbags for each seating position on the outside of the cab and pre-tensioners at all seating positions to make sure that everybody in the cab is kept safe in the event of a rollover situation. One of the things we haven't talked about is the key features of the stability and strength of the cab in protecting the occupants. The door assembly itself and the cab assembly incorporate themselves to create a basic cage that protects the interior occupants in the event of an accident. While we've already talked about the supplemental restraint system, we also need to talk about roll stability control. Both systems incorporate themselves to provide a safe environment for the driver to operate. The roll stability control helps prevent the truck from rolling over. In the event it's unable to, or the truck's beyond control, the supplementary restraint system or the airbag system deploys, protecting interior occupants in the event of a rollover. Taking a look at our interior features, you'll notice this has a nice open area. The stepwell here is large to accommodate firefighters in boots. Also notice we provide 3 steps up, so it's easier for the firefighter to get into the truck and much safer to get in and out. Also, too, you'll notice the reflective that we have back here on the door panel. This is required by NFPA for reflectivity on the highway. Also, too, you'll notice here we have our power window switches here along with the grab handle placed on the door. We have 2 other grab handle points, one at the A-pillar and one here at the back of the cab, so the firefighter entering the truck has 3 points of contact when getting in. All the controls in our multiplexing system that we offer as an option contain the headlights, jake brake and retarder systems. Also, the siren brakes are all enclosed in this unit right here, so it's easy for the operator to use and allows them to reach right here without having to reach or fumble into the center. Our wheel, of course, is designed both to tilt and to telescope to adjust for different sized drivers as they're operating along the way. All the controls to start the truck are right below down here. Is your master switch, your electric master, your ignition, and your starter button. Just on this side by itself is the emergency parking brake. That way the driver only has to remember one thing when he reaches down to do this. Our shift pad and our mirror controls are right here, so the driver can easily reach over and adjust his mirrors both on the left and right side without having to reach or fumble, and it can be accommodated to different drivers. We return the multiplexing system. What this does controls our headlights, along with our secondary menu, which is our exterior lighting, ground lighting. Also include this is one option which we found to be quite useful and has been popular with our customers, is when the right-hand turn signal is turned on, the camera, which is located above the officer's door, comes on automatically on this display so the driver can see his dead spot over on the right-hand side. So as he's driving here, he can check his left mirror, check the display, check his right mirror, and make his turn and change without having to look and have the safest action possible. And again, once it's shut off, this returns to the main screen. Our multiplexing system also controls both the heating and the air conditioning. The unit can be set on automatic with a set point and will automatically speed and change the fan speeds and allow the temperature to change automatically without any driver interaction. Again, allowing the driver to do what he needs to be is looking down the road, driving the truck safely without having to mess with controls over here. Again, one button returns it back to the home system, which makes it real simple for the driver to return to. This truck also has optional switches here that are incorporated that are independent of this unit that you see right here. This includes traction controls and the tire chains that we utilize for slick situations in northern climates or where ice is encountered. We also incorporate the siren into the center. This is placed on the officer side to make sure that the driver can concentrate on his driving, allow the officer to operate that system independently. Also, you notice on this truck we have the independent officer's display that you see on the right-hand side. It is a mirror of the system over here, but it does not include driver controls. What that controls is emergency lighting, climate control, and other systems that the officer may need to operate during the emergency response. Also, too, you'll notice we have the optional interior storage that you see right here. It has a book system in it and allows things to be secured down in the cab when the truck is operating. One of the key features that we have on the Spartan chassis is the fact that our cab mounts are very unique. Instead of relying on a hydraulic pressure to hold the cab down, we use a spring system. What the spring system allows to do is once it locks down on the cab, it allows the cab to move. What you see now is our battery system. We do a 6-battery system on the trucks. The 6 batteries allow good starting power, also allows plenty of reserve when things aren't working right. We've also moved now our hydraulic lift pump into an area now where it doesn't have to be relocated by the OEM manufacturer. It's always located back here. What allows us to do is to have that service without having to lift the cab in the event that the pump fails. So it's much simpler and much better service that way. As we move back, as you can see, everything on the frame rail is bolted. One of the things we do is these frame rails are constructed and assembled. They're powder coated first. In this particular unit, we have painted this frame. Normally they're powder coated from the manufacturer to protect them from corrosion. So we go through, everything is bolted together. Both cross members are married together. As you see this particular frame, if you look on the other side, you'll see that it has 3 frame rails within it. Depending on the loading requirement of the truck, we either have a single, a double, or a triple rail frame. This is one of our items that we offer is an independent lube system. We offer several different manufacturers. What this item does is it lubricates the entire chassis except for the driveline. What it does is as it moves, it allows grease to move around all units that way and all points that need to be greased without having to jack up the truck and relieve that to allow the grease to flow around friction areas within the suspension. This particular unit has the upgraded air lines on it, which are a wire reinforced type hose. What that does allows for better durability, and if it needs to be replaced, it's simply replaced by the hose. The fittings themselves are reusable. The number of air tanks on a chassis are calibrated to the amount of air the truck will need to use. In this particular case, we're working with a tandem with air suspension on the rear. So a greater amount of air is required, so what we do is we increase the number of tanks as we go to make sure there's always a proper reserve. Also, too, the tanks are protected that in case of the air horn being used too much on the truck, it shuts off the air to those, so we always have proper air supply to operate the brakes in the event of emergency or normal braking. As we move into the frame row, we'd like to show you some features of our wiring and airline routing within the frame. As you can see, the airlines are all supported by bands as they move through the frame. Also, you notice, too, split loom encloses every wire as it moves down the frame to prevent wear and friction along the points that they're attached to the frame. Each supply has a separate connection, so we're not sharing air within the system for primary operations. We support everything using the cross member also, so there's no wear and it's a good solid attaching point. As we move farther back into the frame here, we're going to talk about some of the wheel and tire packages available to the customers. Obviously, this particular unit has the forged aluminum rims that are available, along with the 2 separate models of tires. We offer both the Michelin product and the Goodyear product for the customer, depending on what they're looking for. This is obviously a forged aluminum rim. We also have steel rims available also. They're sized properly for the size of tire that's utilized on the truck itself. As we move back, one of the things we like to point out is the variety of rear suspensions available. both spring and air ride to the customer. As you can see, this particular unit is a tandem, is using a tandem air ride suspension for its use. Again, the suspension is sized to the requirement of the user. You'll see what we call the crossfire air system. What this is a safety system designed to allow the air to equalize between the outside and inside tire so that these are always properly inflated. And during daily checks, the driver can check by looking at the window the proper inflation within the tire. That way it isn't underinflated and allows for safer operation of the truck. As we move back, one of the last features, of course, on any apparatus is the fuel tank. We offer a variety of tanks between 50 and 100 gallons for use by the department, depending on their requirements during the operation of the chassis.